Hey there, everybody. I'm Dave Tyler, and I'm the social media guy here at the college at Brockport, and we're really excited to be broadcasting our first live chat on our Facebook page tonight. And hopefully, we've got some good questions coming from folks who are interested in coming to the college in the next year. And to help me out with that, we've got two of our Winging It bloggers with us here tonight, Kayla and Spencer. And I'll let them introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about themselves.
Hi, my name is Kayla Green. I'm a sophomore and I'm a journalism and broadcasting major with a minor in graphic design. I'm from Buffalo, New York, and I'm involved here on campus. I work at the Office of Community Development. I'm in the Leadership Development Program, and I'm a director of Talent Television.
I'm Spencer. I am a computer science and computer information systems double major with a minor in business administration. I'm from Clifton Springs, New York. I'm a member of the class of 2017. And on campus, I'm involved with the Computing Sciences Club. I work at the web team. I work on the college website. I am involved in Winging It. I have been in a theater production or two, and I am formerly a member of the Brockport a cappella group on campus.
Well, that certainly gives you an idea how busy these guys are. So perhaps the first question I ought to ask you guys is, when do you actually sleep? But we'll let you handle that throughout the hour. As I said, we're looking forward to having folks talk to us tonight. So please, as you're watching, enter some questions and comments in the comment bar, and we'll try to get through as many of them as we can tonight in the next hour or so. So I guess we've already got one question coming in, and the first thing somebody wants to know is, why did you guys pick Brockport? So why don't we start with that? Kayla, you want to go ahead?
Sure, okay. So I visited Brockport a couple times, and the first time I visited, it was actually really, really rainy. So you would think that would make me not like it. It was like the worst day ever, but I still loved it. I still just felt like I could see myself on the campus, and everyone that I met, like, even though it sounds cliche, like, it just felt like very supportive, like family, and I just really liked the environment, and I also liked the journalism and broadcasting program. It was exactly what I wanted to do with video editing and different things like that. It just seemed like there was a lot to get involved with and a place that I could see myself for the next 4 years. So, yeah.
Honestly, somewhat similar story. I applied to Brockport because I was looking at very specific major. Initially, the only major I was interested in was computer information systems, and there's only a handful of schools in the area that have that sort of major, Brockport being one of them. Brockport's like the only one of like a handful of schools that are actually accredited in computer information systems in the state. So I got in, and I was also offered to join the honors program here, which for incoming freshmen offers a tuition scholarship. So that immediately grabbed my attention, and I was like, this is at least worth a tour. And I got here, it was bright, beautiful sunny day, perfect tour weather, and I really was impressed with just the atmosphere of the campus in general. Like she said, there was everybody was so friendly to me on that first visit, and the size of the college and of the surrounding town in general really felt a lot like my own hometown. So I felt very comfortable there, a lot more so than I think than at some of the bigger schools I toured, for example. So I think I had made my decision right the day after returning from that tour that was where I wanted to go.
Well, both of you guys mentioned a little bit about feeling comfortable here, and we just had another question come in that sort of gets at that same general idea, talking about academics. How do you guys, we have the question, do you think your professors care about your success here on campus? How do you feel about that in your classroom experience?
I'd say absolutely. you end up working very closely in a department like computer science with your faculty members, and even more so as an honors student, where you have to do a senior thesis. You have to pick a faculty mentor to work on your thesis project with. And so I've been working with Dr. Sandeep Mitra on creating a website here, and I can absolutely tell that he cares about my success. And I think that's a good question to ask, because that isn't necessarily a given. I think at certain colleges, sometimes the professors are more there for just as a place to do research or something like that, and teaching classes is something they have to do. I definitely have gotten that from some of my other siblings. Like, I have a sibling who went to Cornell, and another one who went to Syracuse, and there's certain professors that are definitely more into the research thing, but at this sort of small, like, more intimately sized school, you definitely get professors that are more interested in teaching as their main profession, and in the well-being of their students, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
How about you, Kayla?
Yeah, I completely agree. Being a journalism major, I've worked very closely with a lot of my professors, especially with video editing projects. If I'm having trouble, like, I've spent like hours just sitting with them and having them help me out with things, and it's always offered to come stop by, get extra help no matter what. And even with applying for internships and jobs, like, I emailed one professor over winter break, exchanged probably 25 emails with her, just helping me tweak my cover letter, my resume. Like, it's incredible how much they care, and you really feel it. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. We'll funnel on to or add on to another question in the same vein. Like, for you guys, what was the biggest switch or change academically from high school to college, now to going to college?
Good question.
I think one of the biggest things for me was that you're so much more on your own. And I know they tell you that in high school, and you don't know really how it is until you get there, but you really are responsible for yourself. And while the professors do care about your success, you have to be responsible for your own work, and you really have to care about it, because this is going to be your future, your career. Like, you are finally studying things you want to study, so that helps. But you're really just more on your own, and you have to learn it and really know what you're doing. And the workload is heavier too. Reading is more important, but it's nothing that you can't manage. It's just a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would absolutely agree with that. So it's more independent, and that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes if you're the type of person who has like their own style from learning and would really prefer to do it that way, then I think that college offers a lot more flexibility in that respect than high school does. And as previously mentioned, there's that you have more passion for something that you choose to study rather than something that you're forced to study, and there's a little bit more of that when you're at the college level. So I think that absolutely helps.
We've got somebody here asking what the college's best kept secret is, and there's one vote for Delta College, which if you folks don't know, Delta is a sort of a accelerated and alternate degree program that you can be involved in here on campus. But what do you guys think is the best kept secret on campus?
Ooh, I don't. It's a tough question, I guess. Because I mean, I would say.
Well, we could
Can we take a rain check on that?
Yeah, let's come back to that.
Yeah. Think about that.
Yeah.
We've got somebody asking here, do you guys feel safe on campus?
I personally do. Yeah.
I mean, I might be the wrong person to ask that question to, because I'm not a small dude and I'm a guy, but I think that the college does everything it can to make its students feel safe. There's an alert system that contacts you in a wide assortment of ways. You can subscribe several email addresses, several phone numbers, both text and call to it, so that the college can get in contact with you or your parents, like phone numbers, alternate phone numbers, whatever means necessary to inform you of any warnings or dangers about on campus or just even travel to campus. Like when we had a wind storm recently that knocked out the power, the alert system was up and running, telling people to avoid any unnecessary travel and to be aware of the power outage on several on-campus buildings. And then there's the blue light system. There's a series of emergency phones distributed throughout the campus, and don't quote me on this, but I believe the way the system works is that you should be able to see another blue light phone from each blue light phone. So it's designed, I believe it's designed to always be within line of sight of wherever you are on campus. You should be able to see one of those emergency phones from where you are.
Yeah, I mean, one other thing that I would add to that is, I don't feel unsafe walking alone on campus, but if it's at night, there is something called Safe Ride that you can call, and they can pick you up from anywhere and drive you back to your dorm or whatever. And that's a nice option to know that's there. Like, I know a friend of mine works late in the union sometimes, so she always calls to have her drive her back to our building, which is at the other end of campus. So that's nice to know that it's there.
Okay. We've got somebody asking here, I guess this actually is a question from a parent who's got a freshman coming in this fall. Is it easy to make friends on campus? How was that experience for you guys?
I think it was pretty easy for me. I mean, obviously everyone's nervous about that because you're going in completely new, and I did come in with 2 friends from high school, but I didn't live with them. So the place where I really started to make friends was just within my hallway. I just even remember the first day we all got there and everyone's families left, and everybody's in the same boat as you. They're all trying to make friends, so you all kind of just flock to each other. I just remember we all hung out, and there was an event at night, like for freshmen and everything, and we all went together, and that formed some friendships immediately for me. And I lived on the Honors LLC, which was all honors kids living on the same floor, so that was also helpful. We all had that in common, being in the honors program, and it just kind of falls into place. I don't have all those friends now, but I do have some of them still, and it just, everywhere you go, you meet new people, and everyone's willing to meet each other and make friends, so it's a lot easier than you might be afraid of.
I'll just hop in there. Kayla mentioned LLCs, which is living learning communities, and that's another living option for students on campus who are interested in a common topic or subject. It can be anything from the Honors College to, we have a green living learning community. We have a whole variety of them that you can check out on our website. That's another way to get a good bond with some of your new classmates. How about you, Spencer?
I absolutely would. I also was in the Honors LLC, and that did a lot, I think, to help get me to meet people. Especially in the first year dorms, there's a lot that is done, LLC or otherwise, to get you to come out of your shell if you're an introverted person and to just meet new people. There's almost always events going on. The RAs here are very, very active, and even if you're feeling like alone or like you don't have anybody to talk to, the RAs are there for you. That's why they do what they do.
Did you guys do orientations when you came?
Yes.
And that's another great way to get ahead of the game and meet some of the people you'll be seeing in the fall. So that's another great option.
Yep.
Excuse me. We got a question. How's the food? So you guys want to tackle that?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
I think it's actually really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Surprisingly, like what you might not expect college food to be good, but I actually really enjoy it. I don't usually dread going, and I enjoy my dinners just as I would anywhere else. So yeah, it's good. It actually is.
I mean, I think a lot of people usually end up developing like a preference even to one dining hall or the other. We have two main dining halls on campus. There's Brockway and Harrison dining halls. I prefer Brockway. They've got a really good BLT that they usually serve with curly fries on the day that's the main entree. So.
Is that your favorite? I was going to ask you as a follow-up. What's your favorite meal on campus?
It's probably that BLT.
Yeah, I'd have to say in the square in the Union, there's a place called Fiesta, which just opened this year, and it's like a Mexican food place. Definitely burrito bowl from Fiesta.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get one.
Okay.
And even if you don't have a meal plan, there's a lot of really good off-campus options for eating too. Got the big three fast food places in town, but also we've got local joints like Jimmy Z's, Texas Hots, which does garbage plates, which are a Rochester tradition. There's Stoneyard, which is a nice like sort of pub and grill type of place, and places to get pizza. I believe there's a Chinese place in the Sweden Plaza. Subway, all the standard options, really. Oh, and Wegmans, of course.
And Wegmans. Well, let's Spencer, you started taking us there, so we'll follow up. We have another question too. What do you like most about the town? Let's talk about the surrounding area a little bit. What do you guys feel about Brockport? You're both from larger areas. How do you like Brockport, the town, and what do you think about it so far?
I love the town. It's very different from what I'm used to. I don't live in the city of Buffalo, but I live in the suburb, and it's still just so much more busy and crazy. And while I love it, it's a nice change here that it's smaller and it's just like quaint, and Main Street, like with all the little shops and the canal, like it's nice to just walk along there when it's warmer, and it's just a very like comfortable place, and everything's within walking distance. People are friendly. Like it's just a nice environment. I really like it. So.
I actually have to correct you on that, Dave. I am not from from a very large town. Probably like 3,000 people max.
My mistake.
Yeah. But no, in that respect, I think Brockport is very familiar to me. It's got a lot of the it's a pretty similar size, and it's got a lot of the like Victorian style houses that I'm used to seeing in my hometown. So that's kind of nice. But it's especially in like the warmer months, it's a really nice place to sort of just like take a walk and breathe the fresh air. It's got a bunch of really nice trails that go along the canal, or near Canal Town. So a lot of good biking and walking trails, and places to just stop and smell the roses.
Mm-hmm. Just to follow up on the food question, somebody was asking about meal plans. How do your meal plans cover you for the week? You don't feel like you're being stretched out or having to save points or anything like that?
I've never felt like that. Freshman year, I got the 14 meals a week plan. You also have the option to get the unlimited, but I felt perfectly fine with the 14 meals, usually for breakfast because I had early classes, so I would just eat something small in the room and then just get lunch and dinner at the dining halls. And then you also get dining dollars, which can be used in the square at the Union, which I mentioned previously. They have like 4 different shops and then like pre-made food, and you can use it at the coffee shop, different things like that. And I never ran out. Like I never had an issue with that. This year I have 10 meals a week. Same thing. I just get more lunches in the Union, and I never feel like I'm stretched for money. So.
Yeah. Just to build off of that, there's 3, I believe, main dining plans. There's a limited, which is the default that you get as a freshman, I believe, which is limited meal swipes in the 2 main dining halls and like 200 and something dining dollars, which are this sort of like card specific, ID specific currency that can be used in the dining halls if you run out of meal swipes, which won't happen because you're on unlimited. But there's also a lot of like cafes, and then there's tracks, and if you're buying food at Eagle's Nest, you can use dining dollars for that as well. And then there's also NE14, which is 14 meal swipes a week, and 100 and something dining dollars, I believe. And NE10, which is 10 meal swipes a week, and I think 500 dining dollars a semester. I also am on NE10 right now. I used to be on unlimited, but I really wasn't using all my meal swipes, so I decided to switch down to NE10. And even on weeks where I go over 10 meal swipes, the dining dollars cover it in the dining halls. So yeah, it's very comfortable.
Okay. I've got one asking here, how is it to have your sibling here?
It's a lot of fun. If you don't want to see him, you don't have to. Hi, Mel. But especially if like you're an upperclassman and they're not, because then the likelihood is increased that you won't even be living in the same like quad of dorms. But it's also really nice to, like if they want to talk, or if you want to talk to them, or meet up for a meal or something, and you have somebody that you know, just like only a few minutes away, which is really nice, especially if you're a new student. And also, we were on a broomball team together this past year, so that was a lot of fun.
Okay. Somebody asking, are you both planning on graduating within 4 years? So, do you guys want to talk about that?
Yes, short answer. I'm a senior and I'm going to be graduating in May, and I started here in fall of 2013, so it should be exactly 4 years.
Yep, I will be graduating 4 years as well. I'm considering doing an internship for the spring of my senior year, but it's still up in the air. Either way, I'll still walk in May of 2019, so yeah, 4 years.
Okay. Keep those questions coming, please, and fire away in the comments, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about parking? Do either of you have a car on campus?
I do, yeah.
I do not.
Okay. How do you find parking on campus?
I mean, I park right in the lot, right by my residence hall, and so I have that specific parking pass, and normally it's not bad. I mean, I don't know how it is for a commuter, but I mean, parking in that lot is normally fine. I don't have a problem with it at all, so.
Okay. All right.
I will say I have heard from a couple of my friends who are commuters that sometimes you gotta get there like a little bit ahead of schedule if you wanna get in some of the more coveted lots, like right by some of the more popular academic buildings, for example. But otherwise, then there's a lot of lots on campus, and certain lots that are given to like first preference to commuters during the weekdays, and typically you should not have to walk too far.
Let's ask you this: is there something you wish you knew about college life before you came to campus? Or did you feel pretty well prepared?
I think I was more scared than I needed to be. I think I was mostly scared to leave home because I never really had before. I mean, without my family and everything, but it really just fell into place. Like, I did miss them, but being only an hour, or even friends who are further, like, it just feels like your second home. You just really start to feel like it's okay, and now you have two homes, so it's even better. So if you are scared to leave home, I think a lot of people that feel like me actually end up being okay, and it ends up being a great experience to become more independent and everything. So obviously you're going to be scared, but I promise it will be okay.
I absolutely would agree with that. I definitely think that my fears were unwarranted. And something else that you mentioned earlier was that if you come in as a freshman who's living on campus, you're going to be nervous about being on your own for the first time. It's important to remember that this is not a unique problem. You are living in a building that is literally filled with other people who are feeling the same way. So just try to keep that in mind, and you know, maybe keep that in mind when you're talking to some other new students.
Have either of you guys, this is a question about summer courses, have either of you guys taken summer courses here?
I have not.
I haven't either.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. And are either of you involved in Greek life at all? Is another question.
That's also a no. I apologize.
Well, those were easy questions to answer.
Yeah.
But thank you for sending them in. We appreciate it. You know, there's a lot of good information about Greek life on our website if you search for it, if that's something that interests you. And I know our summer registration just opened today. If you're interested in those sorts of courses, you go right to brockport.edu. There's a tile on the homepage that'll take you right to the course offerings. Let's see, what's been your hardest class so far, would you say, and why?
Let me just do a little mental recap of my.
I have two answers for that. So,
Okay.
Hardest content for me was a gen ed, natural disasters, because I'm over here, a journalism major. I don't know anything about science, so it was hard. But it was also a gen ed where there were a lot of people who felt the same, so the class was kind of tailored to be more general and like help you out if you're not a science person. So content-wise, that. But as for like the amount of work and everything, I would have to say I took a class in the fall semester called motion graphics, and it was an upper level video editing class where we learned about animation and green screen and everything, and it was just so much work, but also so beneficial. Like, I learned so much, but it was very hard, so I'd have to say that, but it was fun too, so.
This is probably gonna out me as a crappy computer scientist, but I think my hardest course was a 400 level computer science course called Algorithms and Data Structures.
That would sound hard.
That sounds hard.
Yeah.
Taught by Dr. Raj. He's a great guy, and if you go into his office hours, he'll really work with you to help you understand the material. It's still really pretty dense stuff, and I didn't do as well as I would like to have, but I definitely think that was the most challenging, certainly within my major, the most challenging stuff I've had to do at Brockport.
Somebody's here asking about extracurriculars. I know we talked a little bit about what you guys are all involved in do you guys want to talk a little bit about some of your main extracurriculars? I know, Spencer, you were just in the Festival of 10. Do you want to talk a little bit about that experience and what acting on campus was like?
Sure. All right. So Festival of 10, just to sort of summarize what it is a festival. It is a collection of 10-minute plays, divided into 2 acts, 5 plays each, and it's a really good opportunity if you're not a theater major or an arts person otherwise to try to like get involved or get your foot in the door, or just like find a really fun creative outlet. The auditions were like right in the first couple of days of the semester. I went to Tower Fine Arts, which is where all the fine arts stuff happens on campus. I like filled out a form. I got a stock monologue that they had there. You could bring your own, but they had a bunch of short ones and I just picked one. And I got up on the main stage in front of all the directors and they were like, okay, read. And I did. And then they were like, thank you. And I waited a couple minutes, and then after that were callbacks, in which case they gave you like a list of the directors who wanted to hear you read for their specific plays, and then you went to those rooms and read excerpts from the plays for those directors. And I wound up in a play called Cocktail Party, about a guy who goes to a business associate's house for a cocktail party, but gets a little more than he bargained for. I was the apparently crazy guy who set up a cocktail party with there was only one non-stuffed animal guest. Let's put it that way. But it was really a lot of fun, and not something I ever usually get to do in my course material at all. And I really am, if I had to do it all over again, I absolutely would.
And was it kind of nerve-wracking for you to be up on stage, or?
Yeah, a little. I'd done a musical in high school, but it wasn't really a speaking part. And I'd done Brockport in previous years, so I'd done performances in front of audiences before, but never really like a true speaking role in a play. So this was definitely it was definitely initially outside my comfort zone, I think, but I had a really good director and really good fellow actor, so it made the experience a lot better.
So it was worth it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And Kayla, how about you? I know you're heavily involved with the television club here on campus, Talent Television. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So I joined Talent Television last year, which was my freshman year. I went to like the first meeting and kind of helped them out with stuff, kind of just got to know what it was. But this year I really got extremely involved. I'm the co-entertainment director, and every week me and my main director, we do entertainment show where we recap different things going on in like movies, music, television, different things like that. We write our scripts and then we go down in the studio and we film it, and it's a lot of fun. The people that I've met there are some really good friends of mine now. It's just a really fun group of people. We have a great time just kind of doing this common thing that we love. Another thing that I did was we did a Friends parody of the show, like the show Friends. I rewrote the script to be more modern, like from the pilot episode, and then we just kind of cast the roles and we filmed it, and that was like one of the most fun days last semester. So that was fun, and then I also get to edit that stuff, which I love. So it's just overall I love it, and I'll definitely be doing it for the next 2 years. So
it hurts a little bit to hear you have to say that Friends needs to be more modern, but I'll let that slide.
Not 90s, 2000s.
We have a question here about what is Delta College, and Kaimani, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, and I apologize if I'm not. I'm going to put a link in the comments here that'll take you right to Delta College's homepage, so you can find out a little bit more about that. But basically, it's a program that offers a bunch of different experiences, some experiential learning opportunities. It used to be billed as what was called the alternate college, and takes its name from the ancient Greek symbol for change. So it's a pretty cool program if you want to check it out, and I'll pop that link right into the comments right now. See what other questions we've got pouring in. Somebody here saying that they've been part of the equestrian club and that there's plenty of opportunities for everyone here. And yes, again, go to our website and you'll find our campus living section. You'll find a lot of great listings of all our opportunities. Unfortunately, we don't have everybody here represented here in terms of the total breadth of what we've got going on campus, but there's definitely a lot to pick and choose from on campus. let's see, what else can we ask you guys? What's your favorite place to study on campus? Good question.
I'd probably have to say Jitterbugs Cafe. It's in the Union. It's like the main coffee shop on campus, and they always play nice music, and I just go there, get my coffee, study. It's just a really good place to focus, and even if you want to have group study sessions or meetings, it's always a good go-to place to just go and hang out, and it really helps you focus. So it's better than just sitting in your room when there's so many distractions in there. So yeah.
I'm the kind of person who really needs someplace, you know, nice and quiet to study. So I usually do either the library, or even if the library, you know, not only is a library, but it's got a bunch of on the upper floor. There's a bunch of quiet study rooms that you can use, which is, you know, have like a little. You go in. It's sort of it's just a small room with like a desk and a lamp, and a couple of outlets, and it's a perfect place to just, you know, sort of cut yourself off and just be with your textbooks and whatnot. But also another place I like to go is I live in the high rises on campus, which are Bramley, Briggs, Mortimer, and Perry Halls, and those buildings, at least in the case of Bramley, Briggs, and Perry, have basements with couches and tables and chairs and whiteboards, and so even at like their busiest points, they only usually have like 3 or 4 students down there, so that's usually a good place to have a quiet study area.
Well, this might be as good a place as any to remind everybody here that if you're thinking, if you've already been accepted to Brockport this year, we're having 2 accepted student days in the coming weeks. The first one is this coming Saturday, and the next one's the following Saturday, April 2nd. And in your emails, you should have received some information about registering and signing up. We definitely encourage you to come, because you'll have a great opportunity to hear from more folks on campus about the Brockport experience, and hopefully get some more information to help you make your decision about coming here. So so take advantage of those. Check your emails for that information, and we'll mention that again before we get out of here. One question that I think I missed earlier in the scroll was what's your guys' favorite memory at Brockport so far?
That's a good question.
I'd say mine is actually related to a class, but I was in, last spring semester, I was in my first video editing class, and I had 2 friends in it, but we had to come up with a group for our first project, which was a silent film. And so me and the 2 friends were in a group, and then these 2 other kids joined our group, and we didn't know them at all, and it was just kind of like, this is going to be one of those groups that doesn't work out, but it was actually the most fun I've had. We wrote a script for this film, and just, it was just so much fun, like sitting and writing and then going to shoot, and we ended up filming it in the alumni house on campus. So just being there and just going all around and filming, and one night we noticed that there was like a full moon, so we all just like went outside at like 1 a.m. and filmed the moon, and we ended up doing our final project together too. So just that class, I'm still friends with all of them, and like it was just people I wouldn't have normally really crossed paths with or, you know, been friends with, but just all of us together, it was just so much fun. So probably that.
Awesome. Oh, I guess I'm kind of got a couple. The past year or so, my friends and I will take a lot of midnight strolls over to the fountain on campus, because that is a gym in Pokemon Go, and so we go over there and hit up the gym, and if you walk in the loop around the area, there's a bunch of Pokestops that you can hit up. But it wasn't really about playing Pokemon, it was about the conversations and the stuff we'd have there. We just kind of shoot the breeze and just had fun, basically. And the other one would probably be my friends and I played broomball these past 2 semesters and weren't great. So I think the night that we had our one and only win would be the other favorite memory.
Well, actually, that's a good thing to talk about. Like, I think broomball was something I hadn't heard of until I came to work here at Brockport. But there are a lot of different campus rec, club sports type options, and broomball is one of those. You want to tell people a little bit more about exactly what broomball is?
That's a great question. Broomball is something that you can find at a lot of, I think you can find it at quite a few college campuses now, but it's basically, think of hockey. It's played on an ice rink. That you play it, we play it here at Brockport widthwise on one end of the rink, with a goal at either end. You don't wear skates, you wear your sneakers, and you wear a helmet, and you have it's sort of like a hockey stick. It's like the shaft is like that of a hockey stick, but the end has got this like rubber wedge about this big, and you use that to hit around like a 6-inch foam ball, and you try to get it into the other team's net. And from there, it's basically like hockey.
Okay. We've got somebody asking, and this is a debate I know that goes back and forth among a lot of students, suite style dorms versus corridor style dorms.
Good question.
Where do you guys fall in that discussion?
Well, my freshman year I lived in corridor style, and now that I'm an upperclassman, you have to live in a suite style for, I think, all, if not most of the buildings. I think I liked having corridor because you will do a suite eventually, so it's kind of nice to have that experience of having only the 2 of you in there. And I mean, honestly, the hallway bathrooms aren't bad. Like, I honestly didn't mind it at all, but I mean, that's a preference, but I like doing that to have that experience freshman year and then moving on to a suite as an upperclassman. So that depends on your preference, but I liked the corridor freshman year, so.
It is kind of nice though, I think especially my friends and I who used the common space in the dorm in the corridor style dorms quite a bit. We liked having our own common room with the suite style, so I think that was a nice step up for us. And she's right, it's not too bad with the bathrooms in the hallway style one, but it's a lot easier to maintain when it's like your own group of you and 5 other people, and to like sort of keep accountability on keeping it clean. So it's a matter of preference, I think, but I'd encourage you to try both.
Let's see, what do you guys have left to do on campus that you want to do? Spencer, this might be more of a question for you immediately, since Kayla,
Yeah.
we've got a little bit more time left.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of committed in terms of classes, so, but, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of regrets or like stuff I wish I'd done. I would have liked to have kept doing Brockport, but I sort of wound up with not enough time, basically. There's only so many hours in a day. And I think there's a couple other like clubs and stuff that I would like to have tried, but at some point you need to like accept that you can only be seriously you can only be seriously committed to a few clubs, I think. There's a balance between, you know, your studies and your extracurricular stuff and your sleep. So
well, let's talk about that a little
yeah.
bit, actually, because I made a joke at the outset about how busy you guys are, but how do you handle your time management and keeping yourself organized? You know, I mean, I think for a lot of our audience that might be a concern too about making that jump to college. What are your strategies? Did you find yourself having to adjust or figure things out?
Yeah, some weeks are worse than others. It seems like there's always that one week that everything is happening, whether it's with like work and clubs and classes, like all these tests and stuff, but you really just have to balance it out. You have to know what you have to get done, and I mean, maybe you can't watch Netflix today because you have to do, you know, the paper you have to do or whatever. So you just kind of have to know when it has to be done. Don't save it to the last minute. I know, I mean, a lot of people do that, but it does help to like plan it out so you don't have to do that. It'll only create more stress for you. So just, you know, figure out what you need to do, but then also have time for the things you want to do. So it's hard to really put into words, but you just have to know yourself and what you can handle.
I guess this goes back to a question from earlier about like what do you wish you'd known before you came to college. I was never the type of person who was like exceptionally organized, you know, like lived their life by their planner. I'm what you might call barely organized. And so that becomes a lot more of a concern, I think, when you get to college because of the independence factor. It's all you, and you have to make sure that you are keeping your events in order. So before you get to college, I would make this suggestion: find a system for time management, and for the love of God, stick to it. Because it won't get simpler. I think in terms of making the jump from high school to college. Either that, or in my opinion, you're not doing something right. I think you should absolutely be looking to try more opportunities and take on more stuff once you get to college. So, I mean, personally, what works for me is I keep some to-do lists on the app Wunderlist, and I keep a calendar in Google Calendar. That's just what works for me. Other people have planners. Other people have bullet journals. I do it electronically.
How about computers and things like that? I know, Spencer, you're active, but what do you guys do in terms? How do you feel in terms of, you know, being able to write papers, having access to technology? How do you feel campus is in that regard?
I feel it's good. I mean, I do have my own laptop, but oftentimes I need to go to the library to work on some of my projects because the library has the software that I need that I don't have personally on my laptop. And they have, for my major, they have special computers with 2 screens for the video editing. And I mean, if it's like you're waiting till the last minute and everybody's going, you might have to wait for a computer, but most of the time it's fine. You can easily get them, and I feel like there's enough. And for my graphic design classes, there's Mac Labs in the Tower of Fine Arts that we use for our projects for that. Yeah, I never feel like I have a problem getting access to a computer at all. So
I would agree with that. Computing Sciences has the Grace Lab in the Brown building, which is where the administrative offices for Computing Sciences are as well. So if you have like a lab that you need to do for one of your classes or something, and you can come there and work on it, and it will have all the it has all the programs that the Computing Sciences courses offer, and the computers in the library are the same way. But the added benefit with the Grace Lab is that you're all you have to do is poke your head out the door and like yell for the professor that you're looking for, and they'll probably be available to help you with whatever you need help with. And like I said before, the library has it's pretty much any software that you should need for one of your classes is, with some exceptions, available on the computers at the library. And it's also worth mentioning that the college has partnership with On the Hub, which lets you get software like Microsoft Office for free, and other stuff like IBM SPSS, which is if you're doing stuff with statistics at a extremely reduced price. And Photoshop.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about what you guys want to do afterwards and how you feel the college is preparing you for that. I know, Kayla, you mentioned the idea of doing an internship your senior year, and you've done internships on campus already. How do you guys feel prepared so far for the next steps? Are you guys taking advantage of career services or anything like that, or you know, where you want to end up? Do you feel like you're pointed in the right direction right now?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I am. It's very overwhelming, like getting to this point, but it's also helpful with, like I said, professors who are helping you and everything. And all my video editing classes were treated like we would be treated in the field, and we're held to a very high standard. So that helps because it gets you to that point, and you're not being babied. You're really being shown like how it's going to be. And I have done an internship in this room actually with video editing for the college's like social media and everything like that, so that was a good experience. I'm doing one right now with the Brockport Writers Forum. I'm a producer director with one of my friends. We're doing it, and we get to sit in the control room, kind of like call the shots as they film this writer show, so that's good. Another thing that alumni and career services put on in the fall semester is they did a New York City trip, which I went on. We had to apply last spring, and we went for a couple days to the city, and we met up with alumni from Brockport across many majors. We went to an alumni reception where we got to network with them, and they prepped us beforehand with workshops, and we got business cards and everything, got to talk to them. And the next day we visited 3 different places that alumni work, which one of them was the stock exchange, which was really cool to see. I mean, you might never get to see that in your life, so that was cool. And CNN, which was awesome for me, being in that field, and then Fortune Footwear, which was another place where an alumni worked. So it was really cool to actually see like these people went to Brockport and now they're out here doing this stuff. So it definitely, Brockport pushes you towards those kinds of things, and with the help of many different sources on campus. So yeah.
I would absolutely second that. In terms of at least the computing sciences department, I cannot overstate how much they focus on bringing in professionals and people in the field to come in and talk to you about what they do, what they expect on resumes, and what they expect you to know coming into a job, what they like to see, what they like to hear, all of that. They organize site visits in conjunction with the career services department to local corporations. Like I've been to Wegmans' IT headquarters, which was impressive. They're doing a site visit to Paychex, I think, coming up here in the next couple of days. They have individuals come in to talk about like what their jobs are. The Computing Sciences Club, which I'm a treasurer of, we work as students, sometimes on our own, sometimes in conjunction with the faculty, to try to bring in speakers and stuff as well. So it's not just the college itself, but you know, extracurricular stuff at the college that allows you to sort of get an idea of what it can help you figure out what you want to do after you get out of school, and how to get there. I think is what's really important.
Good answers, good answers. I know we got about 5 minutes left here, and the time is flown by, but we're still getting a few more questions. One more question coming in is, what are living learning communities and how popular are they? We touched on this a little bit earlier, but if you guys want to talk a little bit about that, I can tell you just off the top of my head, because I was recently dealing with this for work. We've got about 850 students on campus right now living in that kind of community. So if you guys want to talk about that a little bit, what it's about and what your experiences are with them.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different living learning communities, and basically the point of them is to fit you to live with people who have your common interests. So like I said, freshman year I lived in the honors, so it was all people in the honors program. This year I live in the creative artists one. They don't only have them in freshman buildings, they also have them in the upperclassmen buildings. Mm-hmm. So it's all people who are interested in, you know, art of any kind. Like, it's not my major, but I like it, so it's of interest to me. And they put on different programs and trips kind of based off of like where you're living. Like last year for honors, we went to the Rochester Public Market, and some of the professors who are in the honors, like the honors college advisors, they came with us, and it was just kind of fun. Like, we went to breakfast together, and it's just kind of a good way to get to know people with your same interests. And the creative artists, they sometimes do trips to plays in Rochester and different things like that. So yeah, I know a lot of people who still live in them even after freshman year, including myself. I'll probably live in one next year as well, so it's a good experience.
Yeah, I think they are less popular at the upperclassmen level, yeah, but there definitely is still interest, especially from more active students, and the topics, I guess you could call them, of the LLC are pretty diverse, and they're always looking for new ideas for LLCs to see if there would be like enough vested interest from the students to form one. I know it's like a yellow ribbon LLC or something for former service members or active service members and their family members. There's Dave, I think you mentioned the green one.
There's a green living.
There's are you coming in as an undecided student? Then there's an academic exploration LLC as well. Just a lot of options. The commitment is not, I think, I don't remember it being very strenuous at all. I think the only like commitment that they asked of you is that you go to like 3 events a semester or something like that, which is, if you sign up for one, you'll see how easy that is. Like they organize events all the time, so it's really a great way to, if you want to meet people and you want to find fun stuff to do in the area, it's a great way to do that.
Okay. Let's see, if you're out there and you have any of the last questions, you got a couple minutes left to submit them here before we let these guys go.
We gotta answer that question about the best kept secret.
Oh yeah, it's hanging out there. What is the best kept secret on campus? While you guys are thinking about that, I'll put in a plug for the blog that they write for. If you haven't seen it already, go check out bportwingingit.com. Kayla and Spencer and a crew of other bloggers talk about their experiences, and it's a great chance for you to be able to hear about Brockport life from the perspective of students who are actually living it. So check that out. I'll put it in the comments as well. It's bportwingingit.com. All right, now you're on the spot. Best.
I'm trying to think of I want to say it's like a dive bar or something like that, or like Jimmy Z's, but that's not a secret. Everybody knows about Jimmy Z's. So I guess I'll say an obscure class that I wasn't. There's a couple of obscure classes I think that I wasn't really expecting to love as much as I did, but I'm really glad I wound up taking them, and I'd take them again if I could get credit for them. So first off, my freshman year, my first semester here, I was assigned to film my Fine Arts with Performance Gen Ed credit, improv theater.
I was gonna say that.
Improv theater.
Same.
With Susan Hopkins.
Mhm.
And that, I was like, this sounds dumb. I'm not gonna like this class at all. It's awesome.
So
It is
fun.
a great class. If you've ever watched the show Whose Line Is It Anyway, it's basically that. It's all about improv theater, which is an exercise in, which, if you're not familiar, is exercises in coming up with like scenarios off the top of your head, sometimes with other people. So that class was a ton of fun. I think it's arguably the best way to fill your Fine Arts with Performance credit. I also last semester took with a bunch of my friends Shakespeare on Film, which is an English course, and it's just what it sounds like. We would we read several Shakespeare plays. I think it was Hamlet, Midsummer Night's Dream, and Macbeth, and we watched films based on those plays and on several other plays. Like we watched Bosman's Romeo and Juliet, and compared it to like the Franco Zeffirelli Romeo and Juliet. We watched I think like 4 different versions of Macbeth. It was just so, to me, it was a super interesting class. Like we just talked about a lot of really cool like things that it really makes you look at film a different way. Stuff that you think is insignificant gets pointed out to you, like no, there's a reason that like they chose this specific color or whatever or something like that. But it's a great way to if you're trying to find like some extra credits to take, or you need some English credits, that's another great way to do that. So.
To be honest, I was gonna say improv theater as well. I would highly recommend it. That's okay. There's so many people I know who, I mean, I was kind of excited for it, but there were a lot of people in there who were not excited at all and were very scared for it. But that just makes it more fun because everybody feels so awkward at first, and then you just have so much fun because it's just weird and random and just really cool. So I would take it if you want to fill your Fine Arts with Performance with that.
Yeah.
Well, really cool is probably a good way to wrap this up. So I want to thank Kayla and Spencer for doing this. I want to thank everybody else for listening in. If you weren't able to stay for all of this, don't fear. We're going to post the entire video on our Facebook page here at facebook.com/the College at Brockport, and also on the Winging It blog at bportwingingit.com. Another reminder, if you've been accepted to the college and are thinking about coming, we encourage you to come to our accepted student open houses this coming Saturday, the 25th, and the following Saturday, April 2nd. In your Brockport email should be all the information about how to attend, and we hope you can come and experience that for yourself and get a lot of good information. And we hope we'll see you here on campus in the fall. Thanks again, everybody. Take care and good night.